Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of San Miguel de Allende. We're so glad that you're here with us today, either in person in this full house or with us on Zoom, where we also have lots of folks this morning. I'm the Reverend Tom Rosiello, minister of this fellowship, and it's a real joy to be with you. If you are a visitor today, we'd like to properly greet you after the service, so if you're here at the Allende and willing to stand so folks can see who you are, we'd love to have you do it right now if you're willing. Oh. Let me just say that for those of you who are new and would like to know more about Unitarian Universalism or just talk to me about the service after service, I'm going to grab a quick cup of coffee, go into the back room where our kids have just finished their RE classes. There's a table there. We call it New to UU Pop-Up, and we're going to pop up today. So anybody who wants to join, and you don't have to be new to join, anybody can join, and it's a quieter place for some conversation. If you're on Zoom, please type your name into the chat now so our host can properly greet you after the service. There's no question that we gather in difficult times. It is a moment, especially in the U.S., but elsewhere as well, when the values and principles of this faith tradition are under constant attack. But it is not a hopeless time. In this hour together, we pause to reconnect with our inner spiritual strength, the light within us, if you will. We renew our commitment to our principles and values and recognize that we are not alone in the fight. There is such incredible strength in those who stand together in community on the side of love and justice. This morning, we're going to explore how, strengthened and guided by our own faith tradition, we can meet this moment. We'll begin that journey as we do each week by lighting our chalice. Today our children are with us, and Ann and I are going to share some of the meaning of that ritual as we light it. You know, as Unitarian Universalists, we learn from the great teachers of many religions. One of those teachers is Jesus. And one of the things that he taught was that you and me, we're the light of the world. You are the light of the world. And what does that mean? Well, I think it means that in each of us is a kind of light. And Jesus talks about that light. He says, no one should light a lamp and cover it with a basket, but put it on a stand so that everyone in the room can receive the light. And in the same way, he said, we each need to let our own light shine. We should not cover up our light. That means that we should not be afraid to do the right thing. We should stand up for what is right, treat everyone with respect, speak up when we see things that are wrong, and follow the values and principles that are part of our faith. That's what it means to let your light shine.
Buenos días. Como unitarios universalistas, aprendemos de los grandes maestros de muchas religiones. Uno de esos grandes maestros es Jesús. Y una de las cosas que enseñó fue que tú y yo, cada uno de nosotros, somos la luz del mundo. ¿Qué significa eso? Bueno, creo que significa que en cada uno de nosotros hay una especie de luz, y Jesús habla de esa luz. Dijo que nadie que enciende una lámpara la cubre con una canasta, sino que la pone en un candelero para que iluminen la habitación. Y de la misma manera dijo que cada uno de nosotros debe dejar que brille su propia lucecito. No debemos ocultar nuestra luz. Eso significa que no debemos tener miedo de hacer lo correcto. Debemos defender lo que es justo, tratar a todos con respeto, alzar la voz cuando veamos cosas que están mal y seguir con valores y principios que forman parte de nuestra fe. Eso es lo que significa dejar que tu luz brille.
This morning we have lit our chalice. It's on a lampstand, so it can bring light to all in the room. We don't cover it with a basket. You know, we often say we light our chalice with a spark from the light that burns in each of us, and that means that our light is stronger and brighter when we combine our light with others. When we gather each week, we draw strength and courage to let our light shine so that the world can be a better place. That's what it means when Jesus said, "You are the light of the world." So let's sing our favorite song, "This Little Light of Mine." The words are going to appear in Spanish after Anne reads the translation.
All right. Bueno, I'll do it quickly. Para que los niños, so the kids can all understand it. Esta mañana, como hacemos cada semana, encenderemos nuestro cáliz. Encendemos una cáliz que se encuentra sobre un candelabro para que ilumine a todos los que están en la sala. No lo cubrimos con una canasta, no. A menudo decimos que encendemos nuestro cáliz con una chispa de esa luz que brilla en cada uno de nosotros, lo que significa que nuestra luz es más fuerte y brillante cuando la combinamos con la de los demás, ¿ok? Cuando nos reunimos cada semana, obtenemos la fuerza y valor para dejar que nuestra luz brille y así el mundo puede ser un lugar mejor. Eso es lo que significa cuando Jesús dijo, ustedes son la luz del mundo. Ahora cantemos una de nuestras canciones favoritas. Now.
It sure is. And I should have put that announcement afterwards. But everyone stand. I know the screens are a little hard to see, but the words are really simple. And you know, if you really think we need another screen, which we do, we'd be glad to get a donation to put one halfway down. So let's sing.
Español.
Well, we're off to an interesting start this morning. It's okay. I've got something here, Anne.
Oh, what have you got? Oh, my gosh. Oh, my goodness.
Want to hold one of those?
Mira.
Anne and I have a story for you. It's one of my favorite stories, and it's about this. Do you know what it is? Can you ask him in Spanish?
¿Qué es eso? ¿Saben qué es? Estrella de mar. Yeah.
Sí, yeah.
Yeah, muy bien, Michelle. Muy bien, Nora.
Okay, here we go. Come join me. We'll put the starfish here.
Okay.
Okay. A young girl was walking along a beach upon which thousands of starfish had been washed up during a terrible storm. When she came to each starfish, she would pick it up and throw it back into the ocean.
Okay. Una niña caminaba por una playa en la que miles de estrellas de mar habían sido arrastradas por una terrible tormenta. Cada vez que encontraba una estrella de mar, la recogía y la devolvió al océano.
She'd been doing this for some time when a man approached her and said, "Little girl, why are you doing this? Look at the beach. You can't save all these starfish. You can't begin to make a difference."
Ay, qué feo, ¿verdad? Pues ella llevaba un rato haciendo esto cuando un hombre se le acercó y le dijo, niña, ¿por qué haces esto? Mira esta playa. No puedes salvar a todas esas estrellas de mar. No puedes cambiar nada.
The girl seemed crushed, suddenly deflated. But after a few moments, she bent down, picked up another starfish, and hurled it as far as she could into the ocean. Then she looked at the man and replied, "Well, I made a difference for that one."
Ok, la niña parecía derrotada, de repente muy desanimada. Pero después de unos momentos, se agachó, recogió otra estrella de mar y la lanzó tan lejos que pudo al océano. Luego miró al hombre y respondió, bueno, al menos he cambiado las cosas para esa. Okay.
The old man looked at the girl and thought about what she had done and said. Inspired, he joined the little girl in throwing the starfish back into the sea. Soon others joined, and all the starfish were saved.
Okay. Okay. Oh, why did I have it? I had this.
It's right here if you need it.
Okay, good. No, I put it in.
No, I don't have it.
How about that? I put it in English. Okay. El señor, muy desagradable, miró a la niña y pensaba en lo que ella había hecho y dicho. Inspirado, se unió a la niña en lanzando estrellas del mar al océano. Muy pronto, otras personas en la playa se unieron a ellos, lanzando starfish, estrella de mar al océano y, bueno, salvaron todos las estrellas del mar. Yay! Okay.
All right, here we go. Now our children are going to light their lantern, and they're going to go off to their religious education class. Let me just say, it's wonderful to see so many kids here today, and we're going to sing them out. So as the words appear on the screen, first in Spanish, then in English.
Good morning. I'm Nora Cohen. I'll be your service leader today. I'm a member of the Sunday Services Committee, and you know me more as the cookie lady. Please join me as we recite our covenant. Would you please rise?
Wait till this comes up.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. We respect the interdependent web of life and work for a just and peaceful world. We encourage the search for truth and meaning, strive for compassion in our relationships, and seek values that will benefit our lives and the lives of others. This is our covenant. Respetamos todos los estilos de vida dentro de su red interdependiente y trabajamos por un mundo justo y pacífico. Alentamos la búsqueda de la verdad y la comprensión total. Nos esforzamos por mantener compasión en nuestras relaciones y buscamos valores que benefician nuestras vidas y las vidas de los demás. Este es nuestro convenio.
I'll put it here. It's okay right there. Okay. Please be seated. Great. We are a caring community. Each week we share significant joy, sorrows, and concerns with the hope by doing so, our hearts are open to helping and reaching out to each other. For each joy, sorrow, or concern, Nora will light a candle, indicating that that person, or that thought, or that prayer is held in all of our hearts this morning. If you wish to have a joy, sorrow, or concern shared in an upcoming service, email it to me, or, as some have done, fill out a card when you come in, and they'll bring that up to me. If you're going to be at the service, you can do that. And if you are with us on Zoom and you wish to share a joy, sorrow, or concern today, you can type it into the chat now, and Diego will keep a watch for if any should come in. Okay? We have a wonderful joy from Kate Greenaway and Dawn Kraft. Kate writes, many of you have followed our son Udom's long recovery journey from drug addiction and a traumatic brain injury. We're thrilled to share that he has been accepted in a college in British Columbia to study horticulture. He's thrilled to be stepping into his future, and we are proud, grateful, and happy parents. A joy from, well, it's a joy from all of us to Linda Soren, first of all, because she just had a birthday, and she also has this joy that she writes to be celebrating her Valentine's birthday and one more trip around the sun, as she says. And she says she's grateful also to have celebrated it with all 12 hermanas at Nirvana the other day, and many thanks for all the birthday wishes, much appreciated. Kirsten has asked us just to light a candle of thanks, gratitude, and love. Namaste to all, and peace. Okay. Any on the line, Diego? Okay. Well, of course, our thoughts and prayers are not limited to just our personal concerns or the concerns within our community. Each week we light 2 large candles. The first one is a peace candle, and that is a prayer for peace everywhere in the world, an end to war and conflict, and in the Middle East, in Ukraine, in Africa, and wherever wars are threatening or underway. Then we light our Mexican candle. This is for the Mexican people. Many of us who are guests in this country wish to do so as an expression of gratitude to them for their warm welcome and hospitality. But we also want to light this candle as one of concern. Again this week, concern for the harsh U.S. policies that are hurting Mexicans, harsh and unjust treatments of Mexicans and all other immigrants in the U.S. Let's light a final candle for all those joys, sorrows, or concerns that remain unspoken this morning. I invite you to join me in a time of prayer or reflection. Spirit of community, in which we share and find strength and common purpose. We turn our minds and hearts to one another, seeking to bring into our circle all who need our love and support, those who are ill in body or spirit, those who are lonely, those who have been wronged. We renew our commitment to justice, fairness, and compassion for all people. We acknowledge that we are part of the web of life that makes us one with all humanity, one with all the universe. May this time of sharing joy, sorrows, and concerns lead us to a better understanding of our community and the precious gifts we possess that enable us to minister to each other and strengthen our resolve to live the values and principles of our faith tradition. And now, if you'd like to come forward and silently light a candle, you may do so.
By Edward Everett Hale. It's on your order of service. I am only one, but I am still one. I cannot do everything. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do. And we're going to sing hymn number 168. It will appear on your on the screens, and it is called One More Step.
Please be seated.
There is no freedom, the wise man said, let justice roll down when the poor cry out for shelter and bread. Let justice roll down like a mighty stream. Oh, children, don't you get weary? Walk together, believe in the dream. When the way gets rough, we'll make a new way. Let justice roll down like a mighty stream. Hatred will never drive out hate. Let love roll down, roll down. Remember, our hearts can make us great. Let love roll down like a mighty stream. Oh, children, don't you get weary. Walk together, believe in the dream. When the way gets rough, we'll make a new way. And let your love roll down like a mighty stream. When brutality threatens our daughters and sons, let peace roll down, roll down. May our voices rise up louder than the guns. Let peace roll down like a mighty stream. Oh, children, don't you get weary. Walk together, believe in the dream. When the way gets rough, we'll make a new way. And let peace roll down like a mighty stream. Step by step, one by one, let justice roll down, roll down. They can kill the prophet, but the dream lives on. Let justice roll down like a mighty stream. Oh, children, don't you get weary. Walk together, believe in the dream. When the way gets rough, we'll make a new way. And let justice roll down like a mighty stream.
It's 2:30 in the morning. I'm writing this in bed, having once again woken up with the latest story of hate, exclusion, racism, brutality sizzling in my brain, and agitated by all the lies being spewed out faster than I can take them in. Part of me wants to escape it all, crawl into a hole. No TV news, no newspaper. It might be okay for a vacation or a retreat, but I know that is not the way I have to meet the moment, and we have to be meeting this moment. Okay, it's 2:45 now. I tell myself, stop thinking about all this overwhelming craziness. You need to get some sleep. Think about something nice. Think about anything other than this. Right. You know what that does. Now I can't think of anything else but this. It's 3:15. Let's meditate. That usually works. Focus on your breath. Yes, it helped, but now it's almost 4:15 and I'm back on the computer, still awake. Perhaps my blood pressure and heart rate are a little better. I feel somewhat refreshed. It is part of what I need to do regularly in these difficult times to care for myself, but it is not enough. The feeling of being overwhelmed by the situation makes me want to give up. But I know that's not who I am. It's not who we are as a faith tradition. I am searching within, praying the prayers preachers have prayed before every sermon for millennia. Give me the words, the ideas I need. I know I need to preach about this, not just for you, but for myself. We must think about, really think about the way we meet this moment, because everything depends upon it. Materials racing through my brain, hymns, We Shall Overcome, maybe music, Dvorak, New World Symphony. Yes, we need a new world, but I'm afraid we have to deal with this one. Bible verses, quotes from famous UUs, they're all part of what this service needs to contain, but I have not landed, not come to that kernel of truth that I need to firmly grasp for myself so I can share it with others. I take a couple of breaths, and I hear the ocean waves crashing on the shore. Yes, I'm at the beach, supposed to be taking time off. But you know, ministry doesn't work like that. Then in my mind's eye, I see the beach. And what I see on the beach is that children's story that we just shared this morning, one I remember from way back. Starfish all over the beach, doomed. Much too big a problem. You can't make a difference. And I see that little girl pick one up and throw it back in the sea. And when challenged, offering the simplest of reflections, it made a difference for that one. The words of 19th century Unitarian minister Edward Everett Hale that Nora read to you and that we put on the cover of your order service came into my head full force. I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do. My mind is shifted. I was no longer caught in the hopelessness, the outrageousness, the vulgarness of the situation. I was now thinking in positive terms. Yes, there are things that I can do, that we can do together. And by we, I don't just mean those gathered here or just Unitarian Universalists, but all those who share our values, not just those who will agree with us on every issue, but those who know that what's happening is morally wrong, morally outrageous, and that's a majority of people. I feel my eyes wanting to close. I put the computer on the nightstand. I think my dreams are now going to be about the starfish and how I can make a difference. Okay, so where do we start? The first step in meeting the moment is not to be overwhelmed. Part of the authoritarian plan is to throw so much at us, we simply give up and resign ourselves to it. The attack on democracy, the attack on constitutional rights, everything is designed to do just that. And more importantly, and especially if you are a person being attacked, an immigrant, a person of color, a member of the LGBT community, especially the trans community, it is designed to instill fear. All of this is designed to divide people and instill hate for differences. They try to revive hate from centuries past and add new lies to the mix. Big lies. Because sadly, as the Nazi propaganda minister Joseph Goebbels put it, if you tell a big lie enough times, people will believe it. It's clear that's the strategy, right out of the authoritarian playbook. But there are antidotes for those exhausting attacks, for the poison being administered to try and kill the idea of an inclusive, free, democratic, constitutionally governed society. The antidote for being overwhelmed is spiritual self-care, consistency, not giving up, and working together. The antidote for fear is courage. The antidote for hate is love. The antidote to big lies is truth. I want to be clear that this is not a political speech. It's a sermon based on our religious values, teachings, and practices that give us tools to meet this immoral time. As a faith based on values and principles, as a faith that centers love, as a faith that requires us in equal measure to stand for justice and engage with the world, as well as to care for our own spiritual well-being and minister to and support others, we have a lot to say about how we meet this moment. And so, in fact, do many other religions. You know, religion is very important in this discussion, in part because the leaders of the oppressive, ugly movement desperately want to have religion on their side. Now, I want to say first that anti-Semitism is on the rise, and attacks on Jews are also. And it should be of great concern to all of us. I don't want to minimize it in any way, and I don't want the comment I'm going to make be misinterpreted. But look at how they've tried to use anti-Semitism to justify their money-grubbing, control-seeking attacks on higher education. How does getting $50 billion from Harvard address anything about anti-Semitism? Look at the ways they are branding members of Congress as anti-Semitic and claiming themselves as protectors of Jews. Just 3 days ago, I don't know if you saw it, but I did, we witnessed disgraceful testimony, unbelievable testimony from the Attorney General of the United States, who, after dodging every legitimate question and spewing out ridiculous praise on the wannabe king, insulted each member of Congress that did not, in turn, praise Trump. These insults, mostly outrageous lies, were just red meat to further the flame of the mega base and appeal to her audience of one. During that hearing, Vermont Representative Rebecca Balint, the granddaughter of a Holocaust victim, after asking a series of very legitimate questions about the Epstein investigation, what were not at all answered, was accused by Bondi of being anti-Semitic. She lashed back. Really? You want to go there with the granddaughter of a Holocaust victim? You know, I've been so inspired with all the courageous protesters who have peacefully given witness to this immorality and injustice, even in freezing temperatures and at the risk of being arrested. But sadly, I think one of the mistakes these protesters made in their demonstrations against ICE was to disrupt a Catholic church service because allegedly the pastor worked for ICE. This is the same demonstration where Don Lemon was arrested. And why was it a mistake? Well, by focusing on this protest, on these arrests, it gave Bondi and her goons just what they wanted: a way to present themselves as protecting, worshiping Catholics. This moves right out of the authoritarian playbook again. They want to be seen as protectors of faith, of religion. But thank goodness, this is not working. More and more religions, even those who may have been supportive of Trump, are seeing through this and no longer willing to be silent. It started with the presiding bishop of the Episcopal Church. You probably saw it, speaking eye to eye with Trump courageously at the National Cathedral during the time of his inauguration. Last month, clergy from many denominations answered the call to Minneapolis and bear witness. Many of them were Unitarian Universalists. I wish I had been able to go. Recently, I watched a video of Cardinal Joseph Tobin speaking at an interfaith gathering, condemning what's happening at the hands of ICE and the rise of authoritarianism. And in his remarks, he emphasized, we have to say no loud and clear to what is happening. He concluded by asking a question that I think is exactly the right question that we each need to ask ourselves today. He asked everyone to consider, how are you going to say no? We cannot all march with signs. We cannot all attend large rallies. For those of us who can, of course, this is an important way to say no. There have been no kings and anti-ICE marches all over the globe, even here in San Miguel. Of course, this is an obvious way to say no. Maybe that is something you can do. At age 96, Malcolm's parents sat out in lawn chairs on the main road in front of their senior living facility with a group of residents they'd organized holding signs up no, and people stopped and joined them, inspired by their actions. You know, I mentioned that I wished I could have attended the Answer to the Call rally for clergy in Minneapolis. But having just had a hip replacement, and with the extreme cold weather and icy conditions, I knew it would not be a wise thing for me to do. But I saw the intern minister at the church where I'm emeritus needed financial help to attend. I'll send a check at least to help defray a little of the cost for a colleague to attend. That's one way I can say no. Perhaps some of you can say no with contributions to legal defense funds, to care for families that have been ripped apart, for organizations that get out the word. Yes, we can say no with our wallets. We can say no by simply staying engaged, keeping informed, even though that temptation is there to withdraw. So many people have said to me, I can't watch any more news or read the paper. That's exactly what those who would take away your rights want. Yes, it can be overwhelming if you listen to news all day, but I suggest find a time and a reliable source to read or listen to the news and keep informed. Know the facts. These are the antidotes to the big lies. This may not be as obvious, but we can say no by taking care of ourselves. Just as you make time to be informed, make time for spiritual rest. Meditation, prayer, walking in nature, working in the garden, listening to music, whatever works for you. Feed your soul so you can be strong for what is likely to be a long journey of rebuilding. We need to say no in the context of one-on-one interpersonal relationships too. And I know saying no in conversations with friends and relatives and just people you meet can be tough. particularly if you're conflict averse or in a group of people supporting what's going on. It takes some courage. And to keep the peace, some may say, we just need to agree to differ. No, we're way beyond that point. We need to speak out, not in anger, not arguing, but calmly, with respect for the other person and with compassion in your heart. We must speak out against what's going on. Don't judge people, listen to them, but be clear about what, to you, you're saying no to and why. You know, I sometimes engage with law enforcement officers or people who identify as major supporters of the police. I tell them I was an assistant DA and I worked with law enforcement for years, and I have great respect for the job law enforcement officers do. But those that I worked with were never permitted to cover their faces. They were never permitted to barge into homes without a warrant. They were never permitted to lock up children or use children as bait. In fact, if an arrest on a serious crime had to be made in a house where children were present, and we always tried to avoid that, a child social worker went along to care for the children. I tell them in a polite and engaging way, what's happening now by untrained, hate-inspired law enforcement officers is morally wrong, and I know any good police officer will agree with me. And just this week, again, a grand jury said no in the clearest legal way possible by issuing a no bill, refusing to indict those senators and members of the House of Representatives who had served their country in the military, but who offended Trump because they reminded those in the military of what's right in the military handbook, that they should not follow illegal orders. These are 23 ordinary people. And in this case, all 23 said no to some mighty powerful people. That wasn't easy. And at least 5 other grand juries in other cases have done the same thing. I find that very unusual and very inspiring. Say no by answering the big hateful lies about immigrants or trans people with the truth. Immigrants are not a drain on the U.S., but a benefit. They do the jobs others will not do. They harvest our food. They clean our hotel rooms. Those who are here without documents do not get a dime in government benefits. And working immigrants pay so much into Social Security that they're keeping the system solvent. And most will never be able to draw any benefits from it. Maybe try to share with them the joy and beauty you find in diversity. Maybe try to share the truth and the fairness about elections, that just about every court has ruled against those who claim past elections were corrupt. I know it kind of seems like a waste of time, but in response to the big lies, we need to say, no, that's not true, again and again, and we need to correct the record, if you will. Say no by reminding people of faith who they are and what their faith teaches. Your faith and their faith teaches us to love, not hate, to welcome the stranger, to recognize beauty in all people, to be compassionate, especially towards children. Say no to distortions about the teachings of any faith. Of course, say no with your vote and with your work on political campaigns and ballot initiatives. Help others get to the polls safely so they can cast their ballot. Every vote and every election is going to be critical to turn things around. Your vote is a powerful way to say no. And let your elected representatives know that you want them to use their power to say no to what's happening in every way that they can, from defunding ICE to regulating their immoral behavior. Say no consistently with all these small actions. Say no in any way you can. And finally, and perhaps most importantly and central to the message of today's service is say no together. You're not alone. We need each other to keep saying no. And a no expressed by a large group together is, of course, louder and more noticed than a single individual. Do what you can as an individual. That is important. But come together with others at a church, in community, across differences, to say no together. When we say no together, we support each other, give each other strength, overcome our individual fears, and make a louder statement. Connect with others to say no. These are times I never thought I would see. To meet this moment calls for something from each of us. It calls for us to say no to what is probably the greatest threat to democracy the U.S. has seen in the Civil War, but don't fool yourself if you're a Mexican or a Canadian. It is a threat to freedom and democracy everywhere. I'm so encouraged by all that I see, all the way people are saying no. And I do not believe that, and I do believe that we shall meet this moment with courage and truth and love. I do believe that the storm will pass over and that we shall overcome. And I think to conclude these remarks, we shall sing, "We Shall Overcome." It's hymn number 169 in the hymnal. Please rise and join in singing. Please be seated.
Whew, Tom, that was amazing. As Reverend Tom noted, so many of us are asking, what can I do in these turbulent times? One thing you can do is support our wonderful UUFSMA fellowship community by contributing. Please give generously. The collection baskets will now be passed, and grab those starfish and fling them into the sea. These are a few announcements. After the postlude, please take your coffee and check out the information table. Where is it this time? Right over here. And it has information about membership, events of interest, and the Social Justice Foundation. In February, we're having potluck hours around town for you to meet and get to know your UU neighbors better. If you have not already signed up for a Neighborhood Connection, you can, and you want more information, you can meet Ellie Goodwin, I think at this table. Is Ellie here? Somebody will be at that table who can help you about the Neighborhood Connections. As soon as our service is over, a few of our members and greeters will help gather chairs for those who would like to meet others and just sit down, because maybe it's hard to stand for a long time. So Reverend Tom and others will join.
We're going to be in the back room.
In the back room?
The back room, because it's quieter and new people particularly welcome.
Great idea. And it's a way we encourage mingling and getting to know each other. Feel free also to form small circles and just say hello to each other and talk with each other in little groups. During the coming week, come to our Thursday lunch and games event here in San Miguel at La Frontera restaurant on Refugio, and join Tom's Tuesday coffee hour on Zoom. You can check that out in the order of service. We do record our Sunday in-person services, so you can find links to these on our website, UUFSMA.org. And while on the website, please check out the other various events sponsored by our fellowship and how to become a member. And I have one final announcement. We need more cookie makers. There's a lot of people coming, so thank you.
Thank you for being here with us today. I hope you'll join us again next week when our service will focus on incredibly important subject of Unitarian Universalist religious education. You got to see our kids here this morning. We're going to talk about the history of liberal religious education, particularly in our context. Some of our religious education volunteers are going to speak. A couple of our youth are going to speak, and I'm going to do a little speaking too. You know, the children are the future of everything, and we really need for all of you to know more about what the volunteers are doing here and what the history of this movement is in that respect, okay? I also want to remind you, for those of you who may be just coming down and may not yet have made your pledge for this year, you can do it online. Please do. We still have some outstanding pledges. We know a lot of it is because the cycle changed as to when people pledged. And if you're new and you can make a pledge, it really does help our financial team with the budgeting process. So I would remind you of that. And again, I'm going to be, after I grab a coffee, I'm going to be in the back room there, greeting new people. And also, I don't know that they got all handed out. I should have called them to be handed, but there is a Spanish translation of today's sermon. So if anyone would find that helpful, I know Mary Lou, do you still have some? Edith's got them? Okay. Okay. So if anyone wants a translation, you can get it from them, okay? All right. We're going to extinguish the flame that we lit at the beginning of the service, but not the light of truth, the warmth of love, and the fire of commitment. We need those to go with us, especially at this moment in time. These are tough times. So, in the word of that gospel anthem that you just heard, take courage, my soul, and let us journey on. The night is dark and we are far from home, but the storm is passing over and the morning light is beginning to appear. Take courage, as my colleague, the Reverend Wayne Arneson put it, the way is often hard. The stakes are very high, but deep down inside there is another great truth. You are not alone. Yes, we are on our, and we will bring to others on this great journey hope. Each in our own way, we will say no to the injustice, the hate, the fear, the violence, As we sang step by step, we will move forward together and we won't turn back. Let us rise, and today, instead of concluding our service with a postlude, I think we need to sing and move. Hymn number 116, the words are on the screen, but you can read it from your hymnal too. Please rise as you're able and sing out.